LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Hey, everybody. Randy, Bradley, and I talked about the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and then we lost Bradley to technical difficulties, or we started talking about wrestling. You decide. You be the judge. Here's some of that conversation.
I felt that way about Amazing Red when I was going to shows, local NYC, Queens, Long Island area. I think the guys that were wrestling a lot were mostly guys that didn't make the WWE after the merge. So Crowbar was there a lot.
Oh, shit.
Jersey. Bam Bam Bigelow wrestled all the time. I feel like I saw one of Bam Bam Bigelow or Chris Candido's last matches because they both passed away not too long after I went to some of those shows. Balls Mahoney was at every single one of those shows and was awesome. He was another person. He would sit there and he would talk to anybody. And he told us a story this one time about how he got stitches so many times that he got sick of having to go get stitched up. He started super gluing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something. So like Guido, a lot of ECW, because ECW was Philly and New York, a lot of those guys came through, even kind of the unknown people and sort of the mid-carders like Kid Cash was there. But the one guy that sort of started from the bottom and was kind of in some of the undercard matches was the Amazing Red, and just a cruiserweight talent. And, I thought, hey, he's pretty small, but he's highly talented. And then a couple years later, he starts doing, Impact stuff and TNA stuff. And I'm like, oh, good for him. That's great. It's great to see that he's advanced this far, because I don't remember anybody else that did. There was a guy that wrestled for the federation we used to go to. It was called USA Pro Wrestling. And Mikey Whipwreck was another one too. And he had one called XPW or something like that started around the same time, and it didn't last too long, but it was supposed to he was trying to do the same thing that ECW was doing essentially. And those matches were completely in the dark, if I remember correctly. Like there was one spotlight on the ring.
Oh, all right.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But, so there was one guy in USA Pro Wrestling that my friends and I essentially made a star, because he was just wrestling in his match, and he's a pretty generic dude with a mustache and long hair. And I don't think he had too much of a personality before, we kind of showed up and made him who he was. But his name was Ken Sweeney. And one of the people I was sitting with during the match, where, nothing's really going on, just shouts, "Ken Sweeney." And everybody caught on to it. And it became this thing, Sweeney Dub. And everybody just started to love the guy. I might have gone a couple shows without going. So the next show that I go to, he wins their equivalent to Intercontinental US title, basically because everybody is at this point is chanting for Sweeney. It had to have been that moment that, just from some dude in the crowd, just sarcastically saying Ken Sweeney, it made him in the local area, I suppose. That's as far as he got.
I have a similar story. there was a guy who wrestled here, Outlaw Sam Bass, and the first local show I went.
Outlaw Ron Bass?
No relation. Just yoinked the name. He was an older gentleman, but he came out, and me and my friends start going, "Brokeback Mountain."
Oh no.
I mean, in hindsight, it's like, I wish we didn't, but at the same time, it caught on. So it's like, and it got him heat because he was a bad guy. I live in Virginia, and now I'm like, God, I wish we didn't do that. But like, whenever a chant catches on like that, it's kind of nice. I just wish it wasn't that one.
Right.
Okay, so maybe it was the wrestling. Who knows? Randy and I discussing some people we got to see early on, and chants and cheers and whatnot. If you want to hear the rest of that conversation, some of it isn't wrestling related. That is After the Fact number 66. You can find that at patreon.com/ohhijustin, $1 a month. Gets you in the club, gets you through the door. And if you'd like to hear our conversation on Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Deprogrammed is available on all podcast platforms.